hands wrapped around my finger, and it's so quiet in the world tonight. Your little eyelids flutter 'cause you're dreaming, so I tuck you in, turn on your favorite night light. To you, everything's funny. You got nothing to regret. I'd give all I have, honey, if you could stay like that. Oh, darling, don't you ever grow up. Don't you ever grow up. Just stay this little. Oh, darling, don't you ever grow up. Don't you ever grow up. It could stay this simple. I won't let nobody hurt you. Won't let no one break your heart. No one will desert you. Just try to never grow up. And never grow up. You're in the car on the way to the movies, and you're mortified your mom's dropping you off. At 14, there's just so much you can't do, and you can't wait to move out someday and call your own shots. But don't make her drop you off around the block. Remember that she's getting older too, and don't lose the way that you dance around in your PJs getting ready for school. Oh, darling, don't you ever grow up. Don't you ever grow up. Just stay this little. Oh, darling, don't you ever grow up. Don't you ever grow up. It could stay this simple. And no one's ever burned you. Nothing's ever left you scarred. And even though you want to, just try to never grow up. Take pictures in your mind of your childhood room. Memorize what it sounded like when your dad gets home. Remember the footsteps, remember the words said, and all your little brother's favorite songs. I just realized everything I have is someday gonna be gone. So here I am in my new apartment in a big city. They just dropped me off. It's so much colder than I thought it would be, so I tucked myself in and turned my nightlight on. Wish I'd never grown up. I wish I'd never grown up. Oh, I don't wanna grow up. Wish I'd never grown up. Could still be little. Oh, I don't wanna grow up. Wish I'd never grown up. It could still be simple. Oh, darling, don't you ever grow up. Don't you ever grow up. You just stay this little. Oh, darling, don't you ever grow up. Don't you ever grow up. Stay this simple. I won't let nobody hurt you. Won't let no one break your heart. And even though you want to, please try to never go. Oh, oh, oh. Don't you ever go. Just never grow up.
I took my love, took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in snow-covered hills till the landslide brought child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Oh, I'm getting older too. Take my love, take it down. Climb a mountain and turn around. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, where the landslide will bring it down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide will bring it down. Oh, the landslide will bring it down.
Once I was 7 years old, my mama told me, go make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7 years old. It was a big, big world, but we thought we were bigger, pushing each other to the limits. We were learning quicker. By 11, smoking herb and drinking burning liquor. Never rich, so we were out to make that steady figure. Once I was 11 years old, my daddy told me, go get yourself a wife or you'll be lonely. Once I was 11 years old. Always had that dream like my daddy before me. So I started writing songs, I started writing stories. Something about that glory just always seemed to bore me, 'cause only those I really love will ever really know.
I knew my rent was gonna be late about a week ago. I worked my ass off, but I still can't pay it though. But I got just enough to get off in this club, have me a good time before my time is up. Hey, let's get it now.
Ooh, I want the time of my life. It's worldwide. Oh, baby. Ooh, give me the time of my life.
Neo, let's get it. This the last $20 I got, but I'ma have a good time ballin' in that. Tell the bartender, line up some shots, 'cause I'ma get loose tonight. She's on fire, she's so hot, I'm no liar. She burned up the spot, look like Mariah. I took another shot, told her drop, 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 drop it like it's hot. Dirty talk, dirty dance. She a freaky girl and I'm a freaky man. She on the rebound, broke up with an ex, and I'm like Rodman, ready on deck. I told her wanna ride out, and she said yes. We didn't go to church, but I got
I knew
blessed.
my rent was gonna be late about a week ago. I work my ass off, but I still can't pay it though. But I got just enough to get off in this club, have me a good time before my time is up. Hey, let's get it now.
Every night, like my last. Mom, you know the drill. Shake that ass. Go ahead, baby, let me see what you got. You know you got the biggest booty in this spot, and I just wanna see that thing drop from the back to the front to the top. You know me, I'm off in the cut, always like a squirrel looking for a nut. This is up for show. I'm not talking about luck. I'm not talking about love. I'm talking about lust. Now let's get loose, have some fun. Forget about bills in the first of the month. It's my night, your night, our night. Let's turn it up.
I knew my rent was gonna be late about a week ago. I work my ass off, but I still can't pay it though. But I got just enough to get off in this club, have me a good time before my time is up. Hey, let's get it now.
Drink it up, throw it up tonight. Oh, yeah. I said everybody gon' do something. Everybody gon' do something. Everybody gon' do something. So you might as well roll it up, blow it up, drink it up, throw it up tonight. Oh, yeah, yeah.
This for everybody going through tough times. Believe me, been there, done that. But every day above ground is a great day. Remember that.
I knew my rent was gonna be late about a week ago. I work my ass off, but I still can't pay it though. But I got just enough to get off in this club, have me a good time before my time is up. Hey, let's get it now.
I want the time of my life. Yeah. Oh, baby.
Ask for money and get advice. Ask for advice, get money twice. I'm from the dirty, but that Chico nice. Y'all call it a moment, I call it life.
One day while the light is glowing, I'll be in my castle golden. But until the gates are open, I just wanna feel this moment. I just wanna feel this moment. I just wanna feel this moment.
Miss Worldwide, Christina Aguilera. Oye, mamita, dale, que la cosa está arriba. Reporting live from the tallest building in Tokyo. Long way from them hallways. Filled with O's and O's. They counting always. 305 all day. Now baby we can parlay. Oh baby we can party. She read books, especially about red rooms and tie-ups. I got her hooked, cause she see me in a suit with the red tie tied up. Ethan Gris, nice to meet you, but time is money. Only difference is I own it. Now let's stop time and enjoy this moment.
One day while the light is glowing, I'll be in my castle golden. But until the gates are open, I just wanna feel this moment. I just wanna feel this moment. I just wanna feel this moment.
I'm a genius, I mean brilliant. The streets is what schooled them and made them slicker than Slick Rick the Ruler. I've lost a lot and learned a lot, but I'm still undefeated like Shooter. I'm far from cheap, I break down companies with all my peeps. Baby, we can travel the world and I can give you and all you can see. Time is money, only difference is I own it. Like a stopwatch, let's stop time and enjoy this moment, darling.
One day while my light is glowing, I'll be in my castle golden. But until the gates are open, I just wanna feel this moment. Oh, I just wanna feel this moment. Oh, I just wanna feel this moment.
Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Me get up, first shot, hip strut walking, a little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious, somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby's for the game. Nope, y'all can't copy yet. Glad moonwalking, and this here is our party. My posse's been on Broadway, and we did it all way. Grown music, I shed my skin and put my bones into everything I record to it. And yeah, I'm on. Let that stage light go and shine on down. Got that Bob Barker suit game and Plinko in my style. Money, stay on my craft and stick around for those pounds. But I do that to pass the torch and put on for my town. Trust me, on my INDEPENDENT shit hustling. Chasing dreams since I was 14 with the 4-track bustin'. Halfway across that city with the back crush shit. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give that to the people, spread it across the country. Labels out here, now they can't tell me nothing. We give it to the people, spread it across the country.
Here we go back, this is the moment. Tonight is the night, we'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Here we go back, this is the moment. Tonight is the night, we'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us.
Nah, can I kick it? Thank you, yeah, I'm so damn grateful. I grew up really wanna go fronts, but that's what you get when Wu-Tang raised you. Y'all can't stop me, go hard like I got an 808 in my heartbeat. And I'm eating at the beat like it gave a little speed to a great white shark on shark week. Raw, time to go off, gone, deuces goodbye. I got a world to see, and my girl, she wanna see Rome. Caesar make you a believer, nah, I never ever did it for a throne. That validation comes from giving it back to the people. Now, sing this song and it goes like, raise those hands, this is our party. We came here to live life like nobody was watching. I got my city right behind me. If I fall, they got me. Learn from that failure, gain humility, and then we keep marching.
Can we go back? This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Go back. This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us.
got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. A feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. A feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. A feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. Tonight's the night. Let's live it up. I got my money. Let's spin it up. Go out and smash it. Like oh my God. Jump out that sofa. Let's get off.
I know that we'll have a ball if we get down and go out and just lose it all. I feel stressed out, I wanna let it go. Let's go way out, spaced out, and losing all control.
Fill up my cup. Mazel tov. Look at her dancing. Just take it off. Let's paint the town. We'll shut it down. Let's burn the roof.
And then we'll do it again.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And do it. And do it. Let's live it up. And do it. And do it. And do it. Do it. Do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. 'Cause I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. A feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. A feeling tonight's the night.
Welcome to the commencement of the Winthrop High School class of 2017. At this time, I'm going to ask Class Marshal Regina Garufo to come to the podium to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And I ask that you remain standing for the national anthem, which is being performed by the Winthrop High School Chorus, conducted by Mr. Connelly.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome the class of 2017, parents, guardians, family members, friends, and faculty members. I would also like to recognize our distinguished guests, Speaker of the House, Mr. Robert DeLeo, Town Manager, James McKenna, Police Chief, Terry Delahanty, Fire Chief, Paul Flanagan, Town Council President, Mr. Russ Sanford, Town Council Vice President, Mr. Jim Lettieri, Mr. Vincent Cavaretti and Miss Marilyn Cinsulo, and of course, Mr. Frankie Fabiano. I'd also like to welcome our school committee members, Vice Chairperson, Mr. Brian Perrin, Mr. William Holden, Mr. Valentino Capobianco, and Mr. Ronald Vecchia. I would also like to welcome the school administration curriculum director, Mr. Frank Woods, middle school principal, Mr. Brian Curley, Cummings School principal, Mr. Ryan Harity, Cummings School assistant principal, Dr. Kerry Ann Murphy, Director of Pupil Personnel Services, Ms. Jennifer O'Connell, High School Assistant Principal, Mr. Michael Capasso, and of course, the Superintendent of Schools, Mr. John Massero. Before I address the class of 2017, I'd like to take an opportunity to thank the administration, faculty, and staff at Winthrop High School for your dedication and hard work. Our students would not be who they are today without you. I truly appreciate all that you do for our school and the community. In particular, I would like to acknowledge one teacher that is retiring after a 19-year career at Winthrop High School. After a successful business career, Mr. DeMarco transitioned to education and has taught many subjects here, such as computers, business, accounting, and web design, to name a few. He has been the yearbook advisor and district webmaster, but is probably best known as our varsity baseball coach. Mr. DeMarco taught and coached with passion. He served each of these important roles with a true student-centered approach, always with the philosophy of putting the best interests of the students first. This invaluable attribute is a direct result of Frank's sincere, kind-hearted nature, and it is this for which students and faculty will most remember Frank. Frank, can you please stand? I'm not done yet. Frank, I want you to know that you are truly irreplaceable. We will miss you, and thank you for everything you have done for our school. You can clap again for him. I would also like to recognize the parents and families of these special graduates. You have guided and supported your students for the past 18 years. Be proud of the work that you have done. Each and every one of our graduates has found success in the Winthrop Public Schools, and they are moving on to a future full of limitless possibilities. Thank you for shaping your students into the fine young adults that sit before us today. A wise man by the name of Mr. John Massero once told me that when you're up at a podium and speaking in front of a crowd, always thank your wife. So I'd like to thank my wife, Jessie, for volunteering her time and expertise to create the new online scholarship application process that was used by our seniors this year. Thank you, Jessie, for the support you have given me and the contributions you have made to Winthrop High School. Speaking of thank yous, I spent a lot of time thinking about exactly what I wanted to do for this graduation speech. In an effort to keep up with the gift giving at graduation, I came up with a great idea to use drones to deliver fidget spinners to each of the graduates during the ceremony. As you can imagine, that turned out to be a logistical nightmare, so I moved on. As I thought more about the class of 2017, it occurred to me that you are worthy of much more than a cheap gift. You are a special group that has significantly impacted the school and community over the past 4 years. So I decided that I would write individual thank you notes to each graduate. That also turned out to be a logistical nightmare, as I have very poor handwriting and very little time. So, what I did do was write one heartfelt thank you note to the entire class. And here it is. Dear class of 2017, as you sit here in this new gymnasium as the first class to graduate from the new Winthrop High School, I want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for embracing the transition into the old middle school while this new school was being built. You didn't complain, well, maybe a little, and you approached each day with a positive attitude that was contagious amongst all students. Thank you for showing great respect for our new building. You set the tone for the year and set the example for the underclassmen and middle school students. You may not realize it, but you created a new and lasting positive culture at WHS. Thank you to Dave Navarro for the vicious block he put on me as a freshman during our March Madness basketball tournament. And thanks for putting the video of it on YouTube and on social media and showing it to everyone in the cafeteria during lunch over the last 4 years. Anytime my ego gets too big, I refer to that video and it provides me with a moment of humility. Thanks for giving me the bragging rights as the first ever WHS principal to eat waffles on the tennis courts, cooked from scratch using a waffle maker wired up to a generator. Thank you for picking up a piece of paper when you saw it. Thank you for being committed and respectful leaders on our sports teams, in drama, and in other extracurricular activities, and showing the underclassmen how to be hardworking, disciplined competitors on the court, the field, and the stage. Thank you for using your free period, I mean AP workshop, appropriately. Thank you for following me on Twitter this year. Thank you for your dedication and involvement in community service. You have taken every conceivable opportunity to donate your time and energy to the town, the state, and even in countries abroad. Your passion for helping others truly sets you apart from other classes. It's easy for me to write this letter to say thank you for all the incredible things that you have done over the past 4 years at WHS. Going forward, no matter how hard you work on a project or how much you sacrifice, you may not be lucky enough to get a simple thank you. You may find yourselves alone, and you'll have to give yourself a pat on the back. So I'm going to offer you a thanks in advance for all of the amazing things I know that you will accomplish. Thanks for going to college, trade school, or starting your careers to become nurses, teachers, policemen, carpenters, business owners, and accountants. Thank you for pushing medical, social, and political boundaries. Thank you for being great leaders in the workplace, in your community. Your drive and passion will pay dividends one day, and I can't wait to hear about it. Thank you for always making time to help others and doing it because you know that it is right, not because others are watching. Your selflessness will inspire your colleagues, friends, and family. Thank you for coming back here in 4 years and saying, Mr. Crombie, I need a job. I want to teach. Thank you for remembering where you came from. The people in this room met you at your first day of preschool. They have watched you in the classroom, on the stage, and on the field. They stood on the bridge in the rain holding signs that said Winthrop is worth it because they believe that you and this community are worth it. Thank you for staying true and honest to the voice inside you. It has guided you forward to the real success and accomplishments that we celebrate today. Know that you will be remembered by everyone here, not just for what you did, but how you did it, and for the impact you made along the way. So, class of 2017, thank you. Thank you for giving me the honor of being your principal and for making me proud. Congratulations. Sincerely, Mr. Crombie. At this time, I'd like to invite the Superintendent of Schools, Mr. John Massaro, up to the podium to address the class of 2017. As you may know, Mr. Massaro is leaving us at the end of the month to become the Superintendent of Schools in Stoneham. Before Mr. Massaro speaks, I'd like to thank him for being a caring, selfless, and supportive leader who moved our district forward by leaps and bounds during his 6-year tenure. He built strong relationships with staff, students, and parents, which created a positive and nurturing culture within our district. He played an integral role in the development and construction of this beautiful high school, middle school facility. And he orchestrated a seamless transition for us from the old high school to the old middle school and back into the new high school. I would like to thank Mr. Massaro by presenting him with 2 gifts. The first gift is a plaque that reads, Mr. Massaro, thank you for the significant contributions you have made to WHS over the past 6 years. We will miss you. The second gift that I would like to present to you, Mr. Macero, is a ceremonial key to Winthrop High School as a reminder that you are always welcome in our school and you will always be a Viking. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Macero.
Mr. Crombie, I think I trained you too well. Thank you. Good evening. Honored guest, Speaker of the House, Robert DeLeo, Town Council President Russ Sanford, Town Councilors, School Committee members, Town Manager, School Administrator, Principal Matthew Crombie, parents, teachers, and students. It is my great pleasure to speak to you, our graduates, as you end your days at Winthrop High School and venture off to the next stage of your journey in life. While it is sad to leave your friends, teachers, and family, it is also exciting to think what lies ahead. But first, if I may, I'd like to congratulate the parents and guardians of the graduates. Without your support and encouragement over the last 13 years, this day would not be possible. So I hope you will take the time to enjoy your accomplishment as well. And graduates, I hope you'll express your gratitude to your parents for all they have done. One other special thanks goes to the School Building Committee. For the past 6 years, you've been a true partnership to education. Thank you all for what you did in providing us with this state-of-the-art new high school, middle school for all our students. To our high school faculty and staff and their colleagues throughout the district, I want to thank you for your efforts in leading our students to this glorious day. Your undying desire to bring out the best in every young mind is commendable and worthy. And to Principal Crombie, your dedication, patience, commitment, and most importantly, leadership to all our students is one of true generosity. Your endless desire to make sure that all students are successful while under your tutelage is a true example of Winthrop pride. And now to the students. A lot has changed in the last 6 years. When I first met you, you were students in grade 7 at the old middle school. In grade 8, you made a trip to Washington, D.C., and then in the 9th grade, you moved up to Winthrop High School. However, your journey through Winthrop High School would be unique. You were the last freshman class to enter the old Winthrop High School. The same year, the town overwhelmingly supported a new high school, middle school, and so as sophomores and juniors, you returned to the old middle school during construction. And then, this past fall, as seniors, you entered the new high school, middle school. In years to come, you can always tell folks that you were the only students to go to 3 different school buildings during your 4-year high school career. As difficult as these transitions were throughout high school, you stayed on task and continued to strive towards excellence. Your athletic teams were extremely competitive and made multiple MIA tournaments. Chanel Taransky and Molly Janellis were part of the Winthrop High Cheerleaders 2015, who took home a national championship. Christopher Caro ranked 6th in the most recent national championship competition for gymnastics. And yesterday, our boys baseball team, led by captains Luigi Spinazzola, Jack Wallace, and Chris Suvanti, won their first playoff game. To move on. If athletics wasn't for you, that's okay. We had student council, mock trial, and chorus, to name a few. Speaking of student council, Hunter Gillis, who was voted statewide as the vice president of the Massachusetts Association of Student Councils. He helped guide our district to the Gold Council of Excellence. While at the same time, our drama seniors who participated in the annual state festival, Elizabeth Carsley, Michael Curcio, Rachel McNinnis, Emily Nichols, Nicole Lerner, and Aliyah Ruski, led their cast and crew of Antigone to a state championship. Academically, you were led by a dynamic duo of Haley and Will Holden. You have been one of the strongest groups of students throughout your tenure in Winthrop Public Schools, and you have consistently strived for excellence no matter what obstacles you faced. You see, not having a permanent home until this past year was a motivator not to whine, but to shine. Lou Holtz once said, "Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% your response to it." I think this class responded very well. Yeah. As you move forward, I hope you take this lesson with you. Life will throw curves at you. The choices you make can have minimal consequences, while others can be life-changing. We no longer live in a moment without regard to the effects we have on ourselves and others. Each decision helps define who you are. Make decisions that are consistent with your core belief and values that your family have given you, and you will do well. Always remember what is clearly written in front of you today. You can go to any school in the country and be a student for 4 years, or you can go to Winthrop High School and be a Viking for life. Today, you've earned your right to be a Viking for life. In closing, I've been truly blessed this past 6 years to be a part of a remarkable organization and community. Please note my heart will always be tied to Winthrop. My home is here. My wife has a family business here, and our kids live here. During my next chapter in life, I intend to be able to enjoy coming home to this wonderful community each day and watch it flourish as I know it will continue to do. It goes without saying that there are many amazing people with which I have worked with these past 6 years. It's tough to say goodbye. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure at this time to introduce a true friend to education, not only here in Winthrop, but in the state of Massachusetts. He is our state representative, and he is here for us on a daily basis. But more importantly, to the state, we share him as the Speaker of the House. What more fitting than today to have the Speaker of the House come and speak to this wonderful class. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Macero. To Frank DeMarco, congratulations. Longtime friend, congratulations on your many years of service, Frank. And to Frankie Fabiano, every year, every place that I go in this community, we always have a little competition, who's going to get the biggest round of applause. Frankie Fabiano's beat me every single time. Congratulations again, Frankie. But I'm so honored to be here this evening, and I send my regrets on also behalf of Senator Boncori, who could not be here because of a scheduling conflict that he had. You know, as Speaker of the House, you get the opportunity to speak at all different kinds of venues to many different kinds of people, whether it's with the governor, the Senate president, or just a few weeks back, I had the opportunity to speak at a conference at MIT with the chairman of Google, Eric Schmidt, who I'm sure some of you know. That was really something to me because I have no idea what the heck Google is and how it works, by the way. And I'm sure many of you are probably shocked to hear that, but it happens to be true. But I have to tell you, I also have the opportunity to speak to an awful lot of reporters, by the way, too, which isn't the most pleasant part of my job. But I do love the Winthrop Transcript. But it's so special to be with you here today because you are from my hometown of Winthrop. Each of you have worked hard and are reaping the results of your hard work by graduating here this evening. I know many of you, I know your parents, and probably at this stage of my life, I probably know your grandparents better than your parents. I know your cousins and friends, and you make all of us proud. You, the members of the class of 2017, I congratulate you. You are a notable class, not only for your achievements, but as Mr. Macero had just stated, you are the first class to graduate from this beautiful new building. Having to spend time in 3 schools in 4 years, as the superintendent has stated, is not easy. And your success today is a testament to your achievements. I remember my graduation day. As a matter of fact, this year I celebrated my 50th anniversary from graduation from high school. And I can remember that day and the anticipation that I felt and the excitement and also the nervousness as well. Like many of you, I was just a kid from Winthrop and I wondered what the future would be like. I had many questions about the world and what would come next. But there were a few simple things that I did know for certain. First of all, I knew that my parents and family would be there and love and support me. As a matter of fact, as I walked in today, all I could think about was my mom. My mom happened to be work at the cafeteria in the Winthrop Public School System for a number of years. And I can remember so well her coming in each and every day. First of all, she made sure that, as she would describe them, her teachers were taken care of. And she would come in earlier to make toast for them and buy them donuts every morning. She had the first job, I think, in the school system where she lost more money than she made. But she sincerely loved the teachers and she loved the system here. And I can remember also hearing stories from some of the students telling me that many times if they said they were a little bit hungry, they might get something a little extra on their plate. In addition to that, I also knew that as long as I worked hard, I could succeed. This was the foundation for my whole life. When I face a challenge, I go back to basics. You know, it's interesting to note that no matter the challenges that you face, and I can tell you as Speaker of the House, for instance, trying to pass a gun safety legislation here in Massachusetts was a very difficult task. We had folks come from all over the country to try to defeat it. But I knew that we had to do something, that we had to do something special right here in Massachusetts. But quite frankly, because of hard work and tenacity, we were able to get that done. And I'm always very impressed with some of the young people that I talk to, whether they're young representatives or folks seeking office for the first time, and they say, Mr. Speaker, please just tell me the secret. Please just tell me the secret, whether it's a young rep. I want to be you someday, or I want to win elected office. What do I do? How do I get there? And quite frankly, folks, it's so simple, and I know many folks get disappointed when I say this, but you know it. It's about hard work. It's about tenacity. It's about getting things done. But you know that, because that's why you're here today. And I hope that you sincerely, that you understand that, and you take that right through your college years or whatever you decide to do after your graduation here from Winthrop High School. Let me sincerely, again, thank you for the invitation to speak to the class. I'm so proud to be your state representative, and I'm so proud for each and every one of you. I also have a couple of citations from the Massachusetts House and the Massachusetts Senate, which I'd like to present to my longtime friend, Superintendent Macero. For those of you who may not know of Mr. Macero's past, by the way, if you ever saw Peter Pan, he is the best Captain Hook I had ever seen in Peter Pan. He's wonderful. Mr. Macero, I want to congratulate you and thank you for moving this system forward for so many years. But not only for that, but most importantly for putting your heart and soul into this position, to making sure that the kids from Winthrop get the best education possible. So I have two citations honoring you on behalf of the Massachusetts House and the Massachusetts Senate, congratulating you on your years of service. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your words and continued support. At this time, we will now begin the presentation of the awards and scholarships. We have a lot of scholarships to give away, so we're going to get right to it. First scholarship is the Temple Tifereth Israel Sisterhood Scholarship, and that scholarship goes to Andrea Callanan. The Winthrop Lodge of Elks Beta Award in the amount of $1,000 goes to William Holden. The Winthrop Lodge of Elks Epson Award in the amount of $1,000 goes to Gina Chalmers. The Priscilla Solwin Holt Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 goes to Haley Holden. The David Joseph Sawin Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 goes to Anna Ridester. The Clark Sawin Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 goes to Gretchen Howard. The Loretta Sawin Pietrak Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 goes to Mia Price. The four recipients of the Quest and Question Club International Prize in the amount of $1,000 are Danielle Bocchio, Haley Holden. Michael Mahoney. Chanel Turansky. The Order of Sons of Italy Winthrop Mixed Lodge number 2057 Past President's Award in the amount of $1,000 goes to Krista Vaccaro. The Henry F. O'Connell Knights of Columbus number 162 Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 goes to Nicole Lerner. The Sandra Stolzberg Schumann Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 goes to Jenna DeSpirito. The Rona Mail Town Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 goes to Madeline Finyaha. The Robert Perry Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 goes to Michael Curcio. The Randall and Louise Wood Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 goes to Kelsey Griffiths. The 4 recipients of the Marie C. Petrilli Cancer and Research Treatment Memorial Fund Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 are Heidi Benson, Danielle Bocchio, Gretchen Howard, and Mia Price. The 2 recipients of the Dr. and Mrs. Nathan Kaplan and Family Health Science Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 are Dana Marshall, and Nicole Lerner. The Winthrop Improvement and Historical Association Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 goes to Danielle Bocchio. The Robert Capezza Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 goes to Richard Fusillo. The three recipients of the Winthrop Friends of the Council on Aging and Winthrop Hospital Rollins Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 are Sydney Adamson, Regina Garufo, and Jillian Kafori. Sarah Kafori. Come on up. The two recipients of the Jacqueline DeBonis Scholarship in the amount of $1,000, which will be presented by Matt Finn, are Hunter Gillis and Michelle DeBonis. The Jim McConey Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 goes to Kevin Barrera. The four recipients of the Winthrop Golf Club Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 are Sydney Adamson, Courtney Dalton, Kaylin Linskog Ferrara, and John Wallace. The two recipients of the Michael Piccirillo Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $1,000 are Giovanni Edwards and Julia Gallant. The Michael J. Mason Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $1,100 goes to Emily Nichols. The four recipients of the Stephen Oconee Winthrop Youth Hockey Association Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $1,500 are Sydney Adamson, David Barry, Abigail Carlton, Stephen Rogers. The Honorable Judge L. Murphy Jr. Scholarship in the amount of $2,000 goes to Christopher Zufanti. The Evelyn and Paul W. Marks Scholarship in the amount of $2,500 goes to Nicholas Bashir. The Dr. Richard S. Tiselli Scholarship in the Sciences for $2,500 goes to Braden Sullivan. The Hogan Family Scholarship in the amount of $2,500 goes to Alexandra Love. The two recipients of the Andrew Simon Scholarship in the amount of $5,000, which will be presented by Andreas Simon and his mother, Gail, go to Gianna Massa, and Sophia Soares. And now we'll move into our athletic awards. The two recipients of the Winthrop Little League Award and Trophy are Richard Fusillo and Madeline Finyaha. Good job, Rich. The Edwin E. McFarland Memorial Plaque goes to Charlie Page. The Wallace B. McLean Athletic Trophy goes to Heidi Benson. The two recipients of the Francis Fioretti Award and Trophy are Haley Holden and Jack Wallace. The Michael Arizioni Olympic Spirit Trophy and Award in the amount of $1,000 goes to Matthew Tarantino. And last but not least, the Bentley Swift Memorial Cup Award goes to Christopher Zufanti. Let's have a round of applause for all of our scholarship winners. At this time, I'd like to invite to the podium Mr. Brandon Ito to introduce our salutatorian.
Good evening. As I prepared to speak to you tonight, an article of Winthrop High School clothing that I own caught my eye. It was a boys' indoor track sweatshirt from a couple of years ago, on which the athletes had printed "Achieve Greatness" on the back. It struck me as a fantastically appropriate motto for both a sports team and also a graduation introduction. The phrase derives its power from the word achieve. Achieving greatness is a much more ambitious endeavor than, say, maintaining greatness. Maintaining greatness suggests a static state, one in which an individual accomplishes a goal and then does just enough to sustain that glory. On the other hand, those who achieve greatness are people who reach a goal and immediately strive to do something better. Shortly, you will be hearing from a student who embodies the idea of achieving greatness. I think it is a fair assumption to say that we all recognize greatness when we see it. However, providing a concrete definition for such an abstract concept can be rather challenging. So I sought the help of a few soon-to-be graduates of the class of 2017. I'd like to quote a small sample of the thoughts on greatness tonight and graciously thank the participants for their input. On achieving greatness, Jack Wallace says that hard work beats talent any day. Wada Musaku knows that she has achieved greatness when she has, quote, made a difference in the world, no matter how big or small. Elizabeth Carsley credits her achievements to her parents when she states, knowing that I did something, big or small, that made my parents proud or even smile is the greatest accomplishment. And Arthur Barash, mindful of the self, remarked, to achieve greatness, not only must you give off something positive to the world, you must be proud of what you have accomplished. In the context of these definitions, I would like to share with you some of the examples in which your salutatorian, William Holden, has achieved greatness. A hard worker through and through, William has been recognized with several awards, including 3 Presidential Education Awards, the Brown Book Award, and the Commonwealth Award. He has made meaningful impacts on the lives of numerous people he has never met by organizing fundraisers to earn money for veterans and patients with blood cancers. William has also spent time simply sitting and playing games with residents at the Arbors Assisted Living in Winthrop. I've personally seen William's parents beaming with pride as he was inducted into the National Honor Society and when he had outstanding athletic performances. And although he is modest in discussing his achievements, it is obvious from the way he carries himself on a daily basis that William is proud of everything that he does. He radiates with determination to succeed in the face of a challenge and leaps at the opportunity to lend a hand to any member of the community who needs it. So it's my great pleasure that I welcome to the stage a member of the boys track team who not only printed Achieve Greatness on the back of a sweatshirt, but also lived up to the motto, the salutatorian of the class of 2017, Mr. William Holden.
Thank you for that kind introduction, Mr. Ito. You know, over the years, I feel like we've bonded more than 2 oppositely charged ions sharing valence electrons. My name is Will Holden, or as many of you know me, Haley's twin. I'm told it's very unorthodox for a brother and sister to both be giving speeches at graduation, and for this reason, I would like to address some frequently asked questions I've heard over the years. First, people have asked, Will, what does it feel like to be number 2 behind your own sister? To those people, I would like to say that it's an honor and a privilege to be behind such a determined scholar. I've never encountered anybody so obnoxiously dedicated as Haley Holden, and she 100% deserves to be number 1. Next, I've been asked, Will, does it hurt when Haley does better on a test than you? Well, you get used to it after a while. One of the most common questions I would hear would be, Will, are you afraid to go to college so far away from Haley? Truth be told, I'm quite terrified. I don't know what I'm going to do without her to yell at me when I do stupid things or pick me up when I'm feeling down. So let me just say, Haley, you're the man. Thank you for everything. I'd also like to say a quick thank you to everybody who got me here. Bill, Terry, Michael, Casey, Adam, you're the best family I've ever had. Thank you for dealing with me. Arthur, where you are. You're my favorite Brazilian and such a good friend, so thank you for that. Danielle and the Navarro family, thank you for being there for me, wherever you are. Teachers, thank you for teaching me. Guidance, thank you for guiding me. Mr. Crombie, thank you for being Mr. Crombie. Let me share a little bit about myself before I continue. I'm the youngest in a family of 5 children. Despite the athletic capabilities of each of my siblings, I wasn't ever the best at any sport. Each of them had phenomenal hand-eye coordination, but I never really caught on. Football, baseball, hockey, no matter how much I tried, I never made a single team I tried out for. Did I let this defeat me? Did I let each of these failures define me as a person? Did I quit each of these sports because I felt bad about myself? Yes, I absolutely did do all of those things. But the thing is, that's okay. Everything that happened in our lives has brought us here to this gymnasium today. If not for these failures, I wouldn't have been as motivated to do well in school. So I guess each of the times I got cut from team was a blessing. And let me just say, I've had many, many blessings in my life. About a month ago, when I was asked to speak to you all here today, I had no clue what I was going to talk about. When people approached me and asked what I was going to say, I just told them they were going to laugh, they were going to cry, but I didn't know how. Then a few weeks ago in gym class, when I was playing basketball and I missed every single shot I took, per usual, it dawned on me. I've experienced so much failure in my life that I am a self-proclaimed expert in the subject, and I have a few pieces of wisdom to share. First, you're all going to fail in life. It's natural. Either you'll drop a class in college, or you won't get the job you interviewed for, or you'll get cut from the Winthrop Youth Hockey Pee Wee team for the 2nd year in a row. It's all going to happen. If you don't fail, you're not challenging yourself. So I suggest you prepare yourself for a life of failure. Second, hold on. Failure hurts. Nobody likes to be told they aren't good enough. That's one of the worst feelings out there. Your stomach gets heavy like a rock, and in the back of your mind, you hear a voice telling you you've been wasting your time. While this is one of the most unpleasant feelings, it's one of the most important. From failure comes focus. You learn a lot about yourself at your lowest points. You realize what's important and discard what brings you down. It's something significant enough in your life that you have to be willing to accept failure. That's how you know it's worth doing. You have to trust the process. The third point I'd like to make is that failure won't kill you. Either you have to pick yourself up and try again or change your perspective. It's okay to get discouraged from time to time. Everybody does. Michael Jordan got discouraged when he got cut from his varsity basketball team in high school. Thomas Edison got discouraged after the first 1,000 unsuccessful attempts to create the light bulb. Mr. Dole gets discouraged when his students forget the unit circle. But none of these legendary figures gave up, and each of them went on to do amazing things. Each graduation speech needs a really old quote from somebody who lived a long, long time ago. So let me share this one from the Chinese philosopher Confucius, which is, our greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising each time we fail. To summarize my 3 main points, 1, failing is natural and to be expected. 2, failure hurts, but failure brings focus. And 3, getting discouraged is okay as long as you don't let it overcome you. Everybody here is capable of great things. Don't let failure act as an anchor dragging you down. Let it act as a compass leading you in different directions that may or may not lead you to your destination. Thank you for listening, class of 2017.
At this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Dan Toulouse to the podium to introduce our valedictorian.
Today I have the pleasure of introducing your class valedictorian, Haley Holden. Haley is the top academic performer in an incredibly bright and talented group of students. I could describe in detail Haley's academic achievements, which would take quite a while, but that's not the reason she'll be missed so much next year when she attends Notre Dame. On a daily basis, Haley's sense of humor brings a positive energy to everything in which she takes part. With her quick wit and solid deadpan, Haley can take a tense situation and drain all the negative energy from the room with only a few simple words. Haley will be missed for the compassion she displays, the way she lifts up those around her and never takes the easy way out. Whether it be a difficult class assignment, an event that seems to be running in all the wrong directions, or a tricky situation for which there is no clear path, Haley truly never shies away from a challenge. And personally, I'll miss Haley for the way she elevated my classes by asking tough questions and offering insights that gave me a fresh perspective on a book or a poem I had been teaching for years, for providing me the opportunity to discover, right along with my students, new and interesting ways of looking at the world. Please welcome the Winthrop High School 2017 valedictorian, Haley Holden.
If I were to name my first 10 kids after Mr. Toulouse, it would not be thanks enough. So, thank you. 4 years and 3 schools ago, our parents enrolled us in Winthrop High School. It was the old school, and we loved it, as it gave us the foundation for the building we gather in tonight. Sure, the foundation had flaws, and it was maybe built in a flood zone, but it got the job done all the same. At that time, my mom sat me down and prepared me for what was to come. She likened my upcoming adventure to the Boston Marathon. "Haley," she said, "high school is like the Boston Marathon. You are at the starting line. It doesn't matter how many times you were minted in Mr. Kirby's class. No one cares about when you out-Heidi'd Heidi in 7th grade biology. Forget about that time you absolutely crushed that performance of We Will Rock You in 8th grade sing-song day. None of that carries over. All high school careers are created equal." My mom was spot on with that analogy in a couple ways. I guess you learn a thing or two in 27 years of expert parenting. In Miss Flanagan's class, when she would use that term loosely, it often felt like we would never see the finish line. Also, I have heard Will's footsteps for 4 years right behind me. It has been incredibly annoying. He is a very fast runner. As for the rest of the metaphor, Mom, you were wrong. We changed the race course halfway through and persevered like champions. There is no way to compare the accomplishments of state champions in drama and athletics, a powder puff team that ran Viking option until we brought the trophy home. Right? And those of us who survived chemistry with Mr. Ito. Oh, your God. We did not finish this race in first, second, and third. Instead, we reached our own individual goals and earned different kinds of blue and gold medals. We also faced challenges that were all our own. The blood, sweat, and tears that we shed were sometimes in vain. This fall, I shed blood, sweat, and tears in Mrs. D'Amico's office when I concussed myself off of her desk. Again, thank you for all your help, Mrs. D. I owe you a Diet Mountain Dew. I mostly did that for attention. Others of us faced very real adversity that made the idea of this all being a race absurd. If you are sitting here tonight, you have reason to be proud. Perhaps the biggest flaw in the marathon high school parallel is the fact that you run marathons alone. Some of us have been teammates for 18 years now. Others of us 12, or 4, or 1. As a team, we have had the best support a class could ask for. Our principal found time to hear our concerns and find reasonable solutions, all while leading the crusade against trash. Mr. Crombie taught us what to do if you see a piece of paper. We had teachers who cared deeply about their subjects and their students. They pushed us as hard as they thought we could go, and sometimes a little harder. We also had Mr. DeMarco, who dealt with our rubbernecking like no one else could. I personally had 3 incredible older brothers and Will. I also had my dad, or as I've always called him, School Committeeman Holden. All of these people I love deeply and would not be here without. The cousins and friends and parents you brought tonight, all 6 of them, are here for a reason, and I congratulate all of you. So now we've passed Heartbreak Hill and are crossing the finish line. Was high school like a marathon? Despite all the evidence I have so expertly provided to the contrary, I believe it was. As Mary Smith noted in her famous sunscreen address, sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind. The race is long, and in the end, it's only with yourself. We are done with this endeavor, whatever it was, and tomorrow we will wake up at a new starting line, and a new one after that. Many of mine will be at Lettieri's, competing with myself to make a better Figglesworth than I made yesterday. Then they will be in Indiana. They will be in California, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, and Maine. They will be in Massachusetts, Michigan, New Hampshire, New York, Pennsylvania. They will be in Rhode Island, Rome, South Carolina, Tonga, Vermont, West Virginia, and Winthrop. We will achieve great things every day, or we won't. Regardless, we will approach those starting lines with a high school diploma and Kevin Anderson's voice reminding us to be kind to one another and roll Vikes. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to ask Mr. John Massero and Mr. Mike Capasso to join me at the podium in the conferring of the diplomas for the class of 2017.
Let me know when. Yeah. Sydney Ellen Adamson, conferred by Anthony Martucci. Alexis Arcadia Agri. Sean Gregory Alioto, conferred by Doug Reset. Christina Marie Aravena. Jimmy Stephen Aravalu. Jean Stephen August, conferred by John Massero. Arthur Barash. Kevin Hole Barrera, conferred by Dan Toulouse. David Francis Berry, Jr. Kaylin Ruby Benson. Heidi Catherine Benson, conferred by Carol Benson. Nicholas Richard Bashir, conferred by Connie Grayson. Danielle Marie Bocchio. Sarah Jennifer Bosco, conferred by Chris Suma. Spencer George Bossy. Andrea Louise Callanan. Abigail Rose Carlton, conferred by Anthony Martucci. Elizabeth Rose Carsley, Hope Carsley, conferred by Bernadette Carsley. Caitlin Ellen Carter. Bruna Lopes Coelho. Michael Curcio, conferred by John Macero. Courtney Hames Dalton, conferred by Patty Hames. Mackenzie Nicole DeAndrea. Michelle Marie DeBonis, conferred by Maria Hotchkins. Samuel Robert Deeb. Jenna Marie DeSpirito, conferred by Jillian Indelicato. Timothy John Duyan. Giovanni Edwards. Gina Marie Eruzioni. Amelia Elizabeth Fantasia. Chantel Elizabeth Ferreira, conferred by Mrs. Hotchkins, Mrs. Sennett, and Mr. Rosenberg. Carlos Flores. Richard Anthony Fusillo. Julia Elizabeth Gallant. Gong Chen Chen. Jonathan Gonzalez. Kelsey Nora Griffiths, conferred by Anthony Martucci. Darcy Marguerite Guerra. Jacob Edward Hain. Jonathan Hayashida. Nelson Miguel Hernandez Jr. Sabrina Hester. Haley Carter Holden, conferred by Bill Holden. William Carter Holden, conferred by Bill Holden. Gretchen Olivia Howard, conferred by Lisa Howard and Peter Gill. Taylor Michelle Impemba. Molly Edith Janellis. Sarah Rose Kafori, conferred by Leslie Kafori. Nicole Elizabeth Lerner. Serena Lulai. Kaylin Linskog Ferrara. Brian Lopez Espinoza. Alexandria Elaine Love. Michael Joseph Mahoney. Dana Annalise Marshall. Gianna Michelle Massa, conferred by Mark D'Amico. Andrew James McGrail. Rachel Michelle McGinnis. Courtney May McSweeney, conferred by Stephanie Hayes. Stephanie Hayes. Stephanie Hayes. Carlos Daniel Mendoza. Engling Meow. Paris Mohali. Dylan Giuliano Morabito, conferred by David Palin. Santo Morosini. Waida Musaku. David Michael Navarro, conferred by Michelle Navarro. Emily Arlene Nichols, conferred by John Massaro. Neville Alexander Nowak. Shannon Marie O'Connell, conferred by Mrs. Hotchkins, Mrs. Sennett, and Mr. Rosenberg. Charles Jude Page, conferred by Maria Hotchkins. Serena Maeve Page. Yamelvis Gianna Paula. Nicholas David Pepe. Alex Nicholas Basiri. Enes Plavsvik. Bianca Gisela Powers. Mia Nicole Price, conferred by Anthony Martucci. Anna Claire Ridester. John Rengifo Valencia. Nathan John Rich. Christian Rogers. Stephen Joseph Rogers, conferred by Joni Bono. Aaliyah Ruski, conferred by Kenny Hodgkins. Yangi Ron. Sophia Marie Soares, conferred by Patty Hames. Luigi Cuzzi Spinazzola, conferred by Maria Hodgkins. Taylor Lawrence St. George. Patrick Jeremiah Stafford. Braden Christopher Sullivan, conferred by Ann Sullivan. Jaiwan Tan. Matthew Carl Tarantino. Joseph Robert Treneth. Chanel Leela Taransky, conferred by Mr. and Mrs. Taransky. Krista Michelle Vaccaro, conferred by Peter Gobio. Christos Michael Vacoros. Jonathan Stevens Vandelinda. Alicia Lila Vitali. John James Wallace. Derek John Wasson. Abigail Rose Williams. Kayla Leanne Yarrow. Zenyu Wan. Christopher James Sufanti. And now for the class officers. Regina Elizabeth Garufo. Margaret Mahoney. Gina Rose Chalmers. Megan Alyssa Chavez, conferred by Anthony Martucci. Hunter William Gillis, conferred by Denise Lanza. Madeline Claire Vignata.
Thank you very much. Yep. At this time, I would like to invite Karen Kalinda to the stage to introduce two members of the class of 2017 for a special performance.
Thank you, Mr. Crombie. Tonight, it is my honor to introduce two incredible young women. For the past 4 years and on 3 different Winthrop High School stages, they have brought innumerable characters to life in virtually every production. They have shared their talents as actors, singers, dancers, writers, and musicians. In each and every role, they embrace the philosophy of our drama society, that nothing great is ever achieved without enthusiasm. 4 years went by very quickly, too quickly, but I know that we, as a school and as a community, are richer for the gifts that they gave us. Accompanied by Mr. David Lamina, singing For Good from the musical Wicked, it is with great pride that I introduce for the last time Elizabeth Carsley and Emily Nichols.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good. It well may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Like a ship blown from its mooring by a wind on the sea, by a seed dropped by a skybird in a distant wood. And who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good. And just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for the things I've done you blame me for. But then I guess we know there's blame to share, and none of it seems to matter anymore. Like a comet pulled from a ship from as it passes the sea, like a wind off, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better. And because I knew you, because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
At this time, I'd like to ask Mr. John Macero to come to the podium for the presentation of the Paul F. and Norma M. Fasella Scholarships.
Before I begin, Mr. Crombie is correct. You never stand up here without thanking someone. And in this case, I'd like to thank my wife for these past 6 years, who's allowed me to be the superintendent of Winthrop Public Schools and had to listen to everything, but was right there by me at my side all the time. Thank you, Trudy. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we do the Paul and Norma Fasella Generous Benefactors of College Scholarships for graduating Winthrop High School seniors. Those who knew Paul and Norma Fasella understood that they were people who lived simply but purposely. After serving in the Navy during World War II, Paul worked hard as a building contractor while Norma helped others in the neighborhood. They were good neighbors and caring people. Though neither attended college, Norma and Paul saved their money to learn from the world through various trips abroad. For 60 years, they shared a devoted life together and a deep concern for the young people in Winthrop. When Paul died in February 2014, nearly 2 years after Norma had passed away, their careful financial planning and modest lifestyle had produced a sizable estate. Because they never had children of their own, their legacy now will build a future for graduating students from Winthrop High School. Though Winthrop High is a relatively small high school with graduating classes between 100 and 130, many of the students need financial assistance to attend the universities of their choice or to graduate from college without debt. Through a scholarship fund in their name, the Facellas provide in Winthrop will open doors for young people who might otherwise have been limited by resources. The Facellas' example of careful planning and selfless generosity has much to offer the community, as well as the larger culture they model the importance of giving back to the community to improve the lives of the next generation. Paul and Norma's story reflects the basic but essential idea that we don't need status or wealth to make an extraordinary difference for the future. And it reminds us, each of us, that hard work, careful planning, and simple but purposeful living can and does translate into powerful legacies. I will call the names, and to present the awards will be Mr. Facella's nephew, Vincent Cavarata, and a member of the Facella Foundation, Mr. Marilyn Sansulo. I would ask the recipients to please come up and stay up on the stage so that at the end we can have all, and ladies and gentlemen, there are 17 recipients. The first 15 recipients are $10,000 each. This was the wish of Paul Facella when I met Paul Facella along with Gail Conlon. Paul wanted them to be large amounts for kids to go off to college. Our first recipient of $10,000 going to the University of Massachusetts Amherst, Miss Sarah Bosco. For $10,000 going to Boston College, Chanel Taransky. For $10,000 going to Bridgewater State University, Mr. Nicholas Bashir. For $10,000 going to the Coastal Carolina University, Megan Chavez. For $10,000 going to the University of Syracuse University, Stephen Rogers. For $10,000 going to Quinnipiac University, Mr. Dave Barry. For $10,000 going to the Fairfield University, Miss Kelsey Griffiths. This young lady will attend Dean College in the fall for $10,000, Miss Elizabeth Carsley. This young man will attend the University of Massachusetts Amherst for $10,000, Mr. Hunter Gillis. This young lady will attend the University of New Hampshire for $10,000, Miss Heidi Benson. This young lady will be attending the University of Massachusetts Amherst, Miss Abigail Carlton. This young lady will be attending Salem State University for $10,000, Miss Serena Page. This young lady will be attending Bentley University, Miss Courtney Dalton. This young lady will be attending University of Massachusetts Amherst, Miss Gina Chalmers. And this young lady will be attending Northeastern University, Miss Danielle Bocchio, for $10,000. Which school are you going to? University of South Carolina. The next scholarship is for $15,000. This young man will be attending Boston University in the fall, Mr. William Holden. And last but not least, the last scholarship is for $20,000, and this young lady will be entering the University of Notre Dame, Miss Haley Holden. Ladies and gentlemen, the Paul and Norma Fasella 2017 award recipients. Take it. As you know, the Winthrop School Committee recently dedicated the Library Commons to the Norma and Paul Fasella Common area. And next Monday, June 12th, there will be a reception for the Norma and Paul Fasella, and we hope that these students, as well as the previous students, will be in attendance. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to ask Senior Class President Madeline Funyaha and Junior Class President Michaela Norris to come to the podium for the Senior Class gift.
The class of 2017 would like to present Winthrop High School with a welcome sign to Miller Field.
I'd like to take a moment to thank the following people who helped make this night possible. Miss Suma and Miss Babine to my right over here, they did all the work, actually. As well as Miss D'Amico, who has orchestrated our entire lineup with our graduates. Thank you, Miss D'Amico. I would also like to thank the custodial staff at Winthrop High School for keeping this place clean and for making it clean for today. I'd like to thank George Skane and the students of the Viking Longships class for building the stage that we are standing on. And also Mr. Brian Donnelly and Michael Mahoney for setting up the gym for graduation. I'd also like to thank Viking Pride for all the contributions they make to our school. And last but not least, the parent-teacher organization here at Winthrop High School. I'd like to invite everyone back to the cafeteria following this commencement for refreshments, but we're not done yet. Because right now, I'd like to invite the senior class president, Madeline Finyaha, to the podium for her final address to the class of 2017.
I just want to say real quick, that performance by Elizabeth Carsley and Emily Nichols, love that song. As my friends know, I tried to sing. I didn't know the lyrics, but I did try. If anyone has talked to me for the past 2 weeks, they'll probably know that I had absolutely no idea what I was going to write this on. I didn't know how to fit 4 years of memories, laughs, academic and athletic achievements, and mental breakdowns into a 5-minute speech, but I tried my best, so bear with me. 2,148 days, 17 hours, and 50 minutes. The approximate time we have spent together as a class from the first day of being dropped off at the Fort Banks to the time we will leave this gymnasium here today. Our innocence so pure and our emotions so fragile, we entered the world looking to our parents and teachers for guidance. But on this 2,148th day, we re-enter the world, guiding ourselves. Some parents may have just cringed at the thought of that, but you probably won't remember what I say today on stage. You'll probably remember the $200 around my neck and the 50 candy bars, though. You'll remember the first day you walked through the doors, and if you were listening to 102.5, you'll remember 15 by Taylor Swift playing and thinking it was a sign, even though the closest your life was to the song was if you ever sat next to one of our red-headed Abigails. You'll remember the feeling of uncertainty and excitement rushing through you as you walked down the hall, making sure to stay as far right as you could to your first class. You'll go on to do this for the next 720 days. You walked through those doors, down the hall, sat at your desk, and slowly over time, you uncertain, timid freshman became a confident, driven, and humble senior. High school is meant for change far beyond our fashion sense, music tastes, and the boys' need to pop bags in the lunchroom. It is a time for you to grow as a student, leader, teammate, and friend. As we grew, we gained and lost friends, endured our first loves and first heartbreaks, laughed, cried, and then posted it to Finsta, learned how to drive, some better than others, and made mistakes, and then made them again. We will miss the things that seem so insignificant to this moment, like driving to the landing and spending more money on gas than our bank accounts could handle, looking into the window at Twist and Shake, or wondering who was driving the Metro car just to be disappointed that it was only Steve, or the words "Road to Ural" becoming a common motto to live by. As we each part our separate ways, we'll each have a new landing or twist and have a new word to live by. We'll create new memories, go on breathtaking adventures, and explore the world beyond this 2-mile town in hopes of achieving everything we dreamed about from the days we walked these halls. In 3 short months, most of us will be roaming our new homes, starting our careers, or entering a branch of service. And that feeling of uncertainty and fear we felt the first day of high school will rush through us again, like it will throughout our lives. We'll have that feeling at our first job interview, a first date, or when you see 20 missed phone calls from mom pop up on your phone. It is easy to feel like this. We all will, we all have. But it's what we do when we feel like this that will define us. As Ed Helms, Andy from The Office, once said, "Don't be afraid of fear, because it sharpens you, it challenges you, it makes you stronger. And when you run away from fear, you also run away from the opportunity to be your best possible self. So when you feel afraid, attack it, face it head on, because if you don't, you'll never break the barrier of limitations. Go out, take risks, try new things, even if that means putting on skates and getting into net, and when you've never skated before. and never be afraid to be yourself. After our 2,148 days together, it has finally come to an end. Our clock will restart now at 0, and we'll begin a new chapter of our lives. And make sure to make every second count. Thank you for all the laughs, memories, and good times. I will truly miss you all. And good luck, even though none of you need it. Are you guys ready? On 1, be ready to turn your tassels from the right to the left. 3, 2.5, 2, 1. Congratulations, Class 2017. We did it. Oh, God!